right? The last Monday before we get Clash at the castle. And just really showed in a lot of matches. I mean, a lot of the show was just kind of like, okay, just setting up, trying to get that last little bit, that last little slice to make a sandwich, that whole thing. Um, Nothing really significant happened, but things did happen that we're gonna connect dots to. Anyway, look, we're gonna jump off right into it with Drew McIntyre coming out, opening up the show, basically, letting the CM Punk's chance reign in before he just decided to get into his thing about basically, he got a match, he gonna win, but Judgment, I was like, but Priest and Judgment Day is always around and they're always in the way. But Damien Priest comes out, brings in his crew, shows up, and basically is like, yo, you just making excuses all the time. But hey, this is what I'm gonna do for you. If you beat Finn, no Judgment Day. But if you lose, they get to be there and watch me beat your ass. Pretty much. So we got Finn versus Drew later on with that stipulation. Um, then I was like, a little bit later, we got Lyra versus Io. I was like, I had to sort of say that because I was like, with the Damien thing, they were doing a lot of what chance, and I get it, like, you don't, it's not there, you don't feel it, but I was like, they wasn't even really saying doing. There was a weird crowd. I'm not gonna necessarily say a bad crowd because they did get better as the night went on. But opening the show, it really kind of like the CM Punk chance is like, okay, cool, that's par for the course. But then when you just hear them do what chance after, and then they're not, and then there's just nothing else behind anything. And I was like, don't get me wrong, I was like, there were a couple of lines with Damien Priest where I was like, okay, that should have just like garnered some reaction, but it didn't. And I was like, oh, we just go get one of them crowds that just know the casual way of doing stuff where they're just like the chance and whatnot. And then going into the Lyra Io chance, I was like, so I always been wondering like the last few weeks when her theme songs, when Lyra's theme song comes on, and it's like, whoo, whoo, whoo. I was like, I guess that's the one that makes until Pat McAfee's over here doing it, and but then it's like, wait, is he doing it because that's what it normally does? I was like, 'cause I thought it might be in the theme song, but then I was like, oh, it's the crowd doing it. Now I realize that it's the crowd sort of doing it because of Pat McAfee, and that I didn't hear it like at all, which is crazy to me. That I was like, she pretty much had that every time she came on. So like if she was like new and nobody didn't do it like the first 2 weeks, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. They maybe just don't know. Now I was like, for you not to do it now, I'm just like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. But so yeah, anyway, Pat McAfee had to fill it in, unless there was like some audio thing and it is a part of her just her stage music. Anyway, got a really good match. They let this breathe quite a bit between Io and Lyra. Um, I was like, so the crowd wasn't really there for like really the first half or whatever. Then it started picking up once they just started like, getting into it, and like it's like, okay, cool, this ain't just gonna be like some short match, which I was like, I know it's not, but that doesn't mean that they do. Um yeah, pretty much I was like, Io gets the win. I was like, first of all, Lyra doing that weird ass cradle submission is dope. I don't know if it's ever gonna submit anybody, just because I could see it in like an I Quit match that probably seemed like that would work, but in a regular match I don't really know. But anyway, I was like, pretty much after Dakota grabs Lyra and chucks her down on the to break up the pin. After that, it was just really an exchange of Lyra trying to do her finishing move and Io kicking out of it. I was like, I thought Io might have had it with the moonsault, but she didn't. Lyra tried to get the roll up like how she did the first time they won. That didn't work, and basically Io won with a crucifix pin. Kind of like a little, get back from like the last time. Then damage control, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai. beating the hell out of Lyra. Then they stop. Then Io decides, you know what, bump this, goes in there and just starts beating her up some more. And Io's insane, and I'm here for it because let's just see where this goes. Because she's like later on you see, I was like, she says like damage control needs to change, and it's like we don't know what the hell that means, but hey, it's going to change. I wonder if that's going to be like some Sonya Deville stuff in there. But anyway, that's just for another time. So go backstage because I was like, Dom wasn't with Judgment Day earlier. Wonder why? Well, that's because he would live in the clubhouse. She already in the clubhouse, bro. Like once she in your house, kind of hard to get it. I was like hard to kind of get her out without her wanting to get out. And basically, she was like, "Hey, you want to come see me? Here's that hotel key." So, you know, I'm gonna just skip to the part later on because I think it's hilarious. That, I mean, well, I was like, it's like basically a little bit later. Some other stuff happens. We don't care. That now Carlito, Finn, and JD in there, and it's like, where were you at? And he's like, she was in here. She wouldn't leave me alone. I tried to get away from her, but she was in the clubhouse, and she left this in the hotel key. And everybody's like looking at it. It's funny because JD's like, oh, and Carlito's like, ooh, now that's cool. And Finn is like, that's not cool. He's like, no, not cool, not cool. And then it's just also funny just because Rhea, like, there's a Judgment Day, like, a little poster in the background, but the way it's, like, shot is that it's just Rhea right beside Dom's face. So, therefore, it's that, you know, that foreshadowing type stuff. Yeah, no, so that was funny. And even later on, once they're all in there, Damian Priest comes in there, and they were trying to tell him, like, hey, no big deal. The hotel key she played out, we got it. And they're like, where's that? And it's like, nobody knows where it's at. And it's like, oh, this isn't good. And then they'll have, and then they, but basically, so they have a 6-man tag after that. Carlito, Judgment Day, all that Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, Braun Strowman, whatever. They make the entrance to the ring first. Let's get to the funny part. Is that when it's Carlito behind Dom and JD, they, you know, they're in their regular pose because, you know, they all about Judgment Day. They over here doing like this, and Carlito just back there just smiling, having a great time. That he's over here with the Purple Gang, you know, got a little apple and whatnot, shining it up and what, and then all of a sudden, boom, the power goes off. He jumps. And then, and I already thought that was funny. Then, as everybody's walking, you know, they all got the cool Judgment Day strut. And Carlito just looking around. Apparently, he lost his apple in the fog. And I thought that was funny. And I had to rewind it because it was funny. I was like, outside of like R-Truth, I was like, not too many funny things that happened. Judgment Day is part of that. A lot of people don't seem to like it, kind of make their gimmicks silly. And I really like, those people annoy me a lot of times because it's like, yo, do you always want all these serious tough guy people all the time? I was like, that's where, to me, that's bland, no personality. Everybody's tough guy, no matter their heel or face or whatever. Anyway, so pretty much Braun never really gets in until like pretty much the end. I was like, we got a little taste of Dom and Ray in the match. Pretty much it was either Dragon Lee getting worked over, or it was kind of Carlito getting really worked over. Carlito looked really weird in this match. I was like, he doesn't fight like how he's built, and he's not actually really fighting. I was like, it's really weird. I was like, I don't know if anybody else notices that, but basically, I was like, the big monster and the luchador get the win. Once again, another hilarious moment when they're all posing up. I was like, Braun pulls Zelina up, and you know Zelina's all but 4'11", so she is just dangling, and you just see her like, ouch. And then he like, then like you could see again, like as they showing like Judgment Day, that he pulls her up, but he's still pulling her up, and she just dangling like a kid. I also chuckled at that as well. Yeah, there really wasn't much in this match to really talk about, except for, we don't care about the wrestling, except for one point we're seeing like Dom, like, you know, taking people out, and he's having like a good time. And all of a sudden Liv's on the side, and it's like, where did she come from? Obviously we can't see from the camera, but everybody else in the arena can. and she's over here, and he gets out the ring, tells her to leave. Now he know how Becky feels, right? So he's like, leave, get out of here. We don't want your kind here. I was like, maybe not that part, but be gone, heathen, or whatever. And in that, I think it was, I want to say, Ray or Dom, one of them. I mean, not Ray or Dragon Lee, basically. No, it was Zelina. Zelina knocks uh, Liv, and she falls on Dom, all strutting out. And then it was just kind of like, that good old mid 2000s. For the people from back in the day. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you want to go to Attitude Era, you that too, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, that good on full fledged. You feeling what Dom's feeling. Anyway, I was like, as everybody get into that, Zelina wasn't having it, yanked her up off of her and started beating her. And then they had to be separated by each side of the team before basically Braun did the choo-choo. JD basically was trying to get her out of here. Braun did the choo-choo. And yeah, then he did the power slam basically and ended it. I won't be surprised that because of Carlito getting Judgment Day in with LWO, we got the Dom Ray thing all in there as well too. Braun, Damian Priest, is that I think that Zelina is probably going to be Liv Morgan's next opponent. I think they're just setting it up here. I also wouldn't be surprised if Braun and Damian's next opponent. I got a feeling he's gonna be winning at Clash of Castle, and Braun would be the next guy because none of the Judgment Day have beat him. He's gonna have to put it in his own hands. Just saying. Anyway, after that, I was like, we get Sam. I was like, well, we got Sami Zayn a couple times. We got Sami Zayn talking to Maxine, Akira, Tozawa in the back, trying to be like, come on, guys, are you okay? This other stuff. And Otis comes out and tries to explain that, hey, my bad, a second time. Sami's like, whatever, say, but I understand. Get out to the regular match. Sami Zayn does his underdog superhero spiel or whatever. All we're waiting for is to hear music so Chad can come out. Chad comes out with the three of them. And he does a Barreto like normal. It just really just like Sami just being like, are y'all happy? And everyone was like, yeah, because the abuser right there. Then pretty much after that, go to the ring. Like, they fight. Then basically, hey, Maxine, Akira, y'all are worthless. Get out of here. Otis, help me out. Otis doesn't want to help him. So he slaps the hell out of Otis twice. We got 2 times. And then that's when Chad was getting a little fearful because like, oh, he coming at me. But then, hey, I was like, and then there was like one point where Chad is at the corner. Sammy's in the back. Chad ducks and he hits Sami. Now, I thought they were going to play it off as just being another accident, except for after he does it, then he just slams him. But then he pretty much goes at Chad in the corner. Chad gets down in the corner and just like, no, don't hurt me. But Otis then just leaves and Chad just gets the last laugh. So I was like, but everybody really ready for Otis. They should do a swerve and just have Akira Tozawa be the one over and he somehow gets over. So Bianca and Jay, we see them coming into the arena earlier. So they come out to, I was like, then later on they come out to basically see this tag team match that's about to happen because what happened on Friday is basically going to lead to a triple threat for the titles at Clash of the Castle between Shayna, Baszler, Zoe Starks, Ilja, Dawn, and Alba Fire. Really weird that they had. I guess I get what they're trying to do after Shayna basically lost it like in the NXT Underground and all that other stuff, and her whole thing with the knee. They trying to make her be a president. This is where the crowd wasn't really here for this at all. It was a short match. I think partially of that is just because Dawn and Fire nobody knows at all. Even though they've been on the show for a while, but they have. I was like, I don't believe they've even been. This is their first tag team match. It really feels like since they made it to they went up to the main roster. And and Shayna and Zoe doesn't get the response really that you would think they sort of would get. They've been, I was like, except for when they are in matches and the matches are like they actually get to wrestle. But it is kind of thing you're not gonna get that, and the scariness of Shayna just doesn't come off like that. But she basically makes Alpha Fire top out, and I'm like, for this to be their first showing, like I would imagine that you would want to get them to win just so that's like we know that Jade and Bianca are gonna keep it, but just to be like, yo, give them their one win because they ain't gonna get one win. Plus, it was really weird because Dawn basically like off of one arm thing just is gone. I don't know if Zoe had it on the side or not, but she was just gone for the rest of the match. Um, but yeah, no, I was like, so I think it'll be a pretty good triple threat though, because I was like, I haven't really seen Dawn and Alba Fire like that. Well, I'll say I have seen Alba Fire when she was Kaylee Ray, so I was like, I've seen a little bit of her stuff. So I was like, it'll be a good match. It'll be a good match. But the match of the night is Ilja Dragunov versus Braun Breaker. That was a match, a hard hitting match. I was wondering the whole time, were they going to do some bullshit to try to basically save face with both of them? But as the match was going on, I was like, okay, they're hard hitting. They're over here exchanging. Like I was like, you had Ilja do like three weird, like German suplexes, and it's like he had him up by the groin, but I was like the way that he was doing them, like made it really look like he was struggling to do it. And Braun was fearful with it. Braun was really beating the hell out of him, but then Ilja would turn it back on him. They went outside and was doing stuff. I think the move is the HOV or something like that, where he just nailed Braun in the face. They go out to the table, and Ilja kicked him. And I sort of don't think that was the spot. I think Braun was supposed to be on the table, but whatever. Braun basically just made him, like, picked him up, slammed him on his ribs, and slammed on the ribs over where the announcer spot is at. Then he just spears him in the ring, then out. He spears him outside the ring. Then he brings him back in, do the rope thing, spears him again, takes him out, wins. I'm glad it went this way of just like letting a win happen, the decisive win. And I was like, one, Braun Breaker has to win. Braun Breaker momentum is in the story that he's going with. He can't lose. I was like, Ilja has already won, has already lost. Two, a loss isn't, because I was thinking about, I was like, a loss really isn't as impactful in a lot of cases. I was like, but it's impactful if it's the Braun, not Ilja. One, kind of like I just said, the scrubbing of the loss, but also because of Braun being unstoppable means that he can't lose right now. Like, he can lose of a DQ, that type of way he win. Ilja is someone who of a man of integrity and all that other stuff. So him losing doesn't take away from his intensity of anything like that. But anyway, they gave it to him, and he about to kill Ilja one more time, and Ricochet comes in. Which I didn't know he was going to show up on TV. I mean, they had him earlier talking to Ilja, basically like, we're going to have to do this again kind of thing, which I'm like, no, they're not. He comes in here, saves Ilja, and basically fights off Braun. I'll just skip to it because, especially with the news of Ricochet, look like he's leaving WWE, is that I was wondering when they were going to try to write him off. Looks like they might have did that tonight, because in the back, I was like, Braun attacked Ilja again. Ricochet was out here, was giving him some of the beats. Then after that, Braun threw him into like the trailer. Then all of a sudden, Ricochet back hurts. Now I will say then I was like, the spots just leveled up after that, because he picked up Ricochet, threw him into the trailer again, and the drop where it was like from his head hitting to just falling on the cement was like that was a damn drop. Then he went up a couple steps on the trailer and basically power slammed him onto a car, and he got the ride off into the sunset, I guess. And his fiance went with him, so we didn't have anybody announcing anymore. Yeah, so all that was wild. During this time, though, we had Awesome Truth versus AOP. I figured that New Day was gonna come in, interrupt or whatever. I was like they started fighting Karrion Kross. Um, I did not know how this was going to go. I did not like the fact that AOP just lost due to a kind of roll up by the Miz. Um, I was like, and especially the way that the roll up was, to me, it wasn't anything significant or whatnot. Um, just because I like this, to me, this was one of those bad matchup type of things, because AOP to me shouldn't be listening to the Awesome Truth. If anything, they should be the ones to take off Awesome Truth if they're going to do anything, just because of the matchup situation. So I'm like, you could have had them get somebody else where AOP wins, but say the New Day still jumps in or something like that. Or I was like, or a DQ happened. That's what I would have. I would have rather a DQ sort of happened than the way that they just roll up and beat AOP in that situation. That was lame. That was lame to me in that situation. In that aspect. But last but not least, we got Drew and we got Finn. Pat McAfee had to do the announcing, which was funny. He is not Samantha Irvin in that way, but he is also good in his own way because he talks mad dog shit to each one of them, but also give them the compliments. Um, So anyway, match. Well, the fun match, of course. I was like Drew Finn there. I was gonna give you a good constant level of stuff. It really started to get chaotic basically towards the end, where Judgement Day started coming in there, started flying all over the place. But Drew was focused. None of this stuff. I was like, there was a little bit like Damien, but this was not enough for him basically to take out all of Judgement Day. Finn Balor thought he got the coup de grace. I was like, well, no, he did the little stomp into the corner or whatever. And then you see them stand up, it didn't matter, Claymore, and that was pretty much it. 1, 2, 3. And then we get the Damian Priest, Drew stare down to basically end the night. I was like, solid show. I was like, continued a couple of story beats, but pretty much everything pretty much settled into basically going castle to castle. Outside of like the New Day part and EO and Lyra, I was like, everything else went in some form of the castle. So that was your Go Hope show. Anyway, that's it. Till the next one, we'll see Clash of Castle. Peace.